Hey, Blackflex22 here, aka Teabag and Saggins. Today I'm going to bring to you how to set up and optimize real-time performance on your operating system. This includes Windows 10, also works on Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows Vista. The purpose of this video is just to enhance gaming, because that's what I do. I enjoy gaming. It also boosts performance of your computer overall, boost productivity in business and research. It also will reduce the wait times on your computer. Now I'm going to walk you through the instructions on how to do everything. Being as this is going to be a YouTube video, you could pause it, go back to the settings, and review everything that I have here. I'll also put this section in the notes below, and if you have any questions, just give me a comment, and I'll be able to get back to you on that. I'm also going to upload other videos on how to optimize your system even more. I am an AMD user. I'm more familiar with AMD. I feel like NVIDIA is a great product. It's just better, new out the box. Whereas AMD, you really, really got to tweak it and get it to do what you want it to do in order to have a good experience, in my opinion. But I love AMD. It was like a 6-month grind for me to get it right. So here I am. All right, so let's continue. So we're going to be boosting the performance of our game. We're also going to, in doing so, we're going to reduce wait time, wait times on the computer. And that's going to allow us to have more immediate and real-time results, especially if you're solid state users or if you paid a lot of money for your system or built your system custom and you really invested a lot into that, and then you know it could do more than what it's currently doing. I'll put a disclaimer here. Disclaimer is not really going to cause any loss of data, any harm to your computer, any type of malicious content or intent. It's just going to inform you that, doing this is kind of a chore just because uh, you have to do it every time you close the application. You have to do it anytime you restart the computer to get these results. But in my opinion, I do it religiously because it really makes a difference. And if I'm playing and I notice something's not right, I'll change over and I'll form a hypothesis in my mind. And sure enough, it's one of these processes is not set to the right thing. So I don't have any scripts to streamline this process as of yet. I've gotten lower priority items like Microsoft Paint, um, Notepad, anything that really doesn't have any administrative rights or need any administrative rights. I've got it to launch in real time through the scripts, but I can't, or I have not yet achieved real time um, for these processes here. But I'm continuing to work on that. I've been working on that about 6 or 7 months. So if you have any input that may be able to help, just cite your information here. I'll be able to use you as a source if I achieve that, and then you'll get credibility as well. But I think all of us would really appreciate that if you have any input. So let's continue. So I'm currently working on building out handles to optimize this in just a few clicks rather than several clicks. When you perform the priority change, you must do it again when you close the program or to restart the computer. In order to achieve real time, you must be an administrator. If you're not, then high will perform just as well. For me, real time is one step farther, so I tried to go as far as I can. The easiest way, fastest way, like I said, is just to hit Control Shift and Escape at the same time. The fastest way to open up Task Manager. Typically, most users have the collapsed version, the less details version of the Task Manager. You get that bottom left tab there for more details. You could click that to expand. You're going to click on the Details tab once that populates. You're going to want to hover over the name column in that Details tab. That name column will turn blue. You can do it to any other columns. I just start with the name column just because it's the farthest top left. It's really hard to miss that one. Right click on it, and then you're going to want to left click Select Columns. That's going to populate. There's only going to be two options. When that window appears, the fastest way is to click B because the first in that alpha list is base priority. So then under base priority, you're just going to hit OK after you check that. Now note the base priority is going to populate to the farthest column to the right. We're going to want to hover over that column, base priority. We're going to scroll over. We're going to find it there. It'll turn blue. We're going to click and drag it next to the name. This just makes it for easier sorting. For me, whenever I do it, I always start at the lowest priorities because usually that's going to be the slowest part of my system. and I always try to resolve that first, and then I'll look for low and below normals, and I'll work my way up to real times. Not all programs should be run in the normal status, just most of your programs. Typically, a lot of programs that you don't want to run above the normal status are going to be like anything that's really related to your System 32, with the exception of a few programs. Most of them, they should be running at a normal priority, but you'll notice, like whether you're just using a web browser or gaming, that this is just not working like it should. It seems like it got a virus, or it seems like something happened. And yes, something did happen. It's likely something got changed to low automatically. So what I set to real time, me as the user, to get the most out of my game, is going to be my graphics drivers. That's going to be the biggest hit or miss for most people. You could get away with just your graphics drivers alone to have a night or day experience, because I'm an AMD user, I do AMD Radeon. But if you're an NVIDIA, you're gonna want to do all of your NVIDIAs. I no longer use Raptor because I'm using the Vega 64, but you'll notice that there will be an AMD Raptor as well if you're using anything lower than the Vega, I believe. Um, NVIDIA is going to populate with multiples, so you're going to right-click on those drivers and driver-related programs. Anything with that symbol or that icon that represents your driver, you're going to want to sort out and find. I usually sort it alphabetically, makes it easier. Because when you sort it by priority, it's easier to find, but as you change it, you'll notice it will start shifting you away from those target programs that you need, and we'll notice that later in the video. All right, so I do my graphics drivers, my game clients. For me, I run Steam. So if you're doing Steam, Origin, um, Blizzard, any type of game clients, and all the related apps. Now, for the game application, you're going to launch the game first. Me, I always try to get as far into the game session before I get to like a competitive. So what I'll do is I'll launch the game. I won't switch over to change it yet. I'll maybe do like a warm-up round, and like let's say I'm playing CS, I'll do like a casual match. While I'm doing the casual match, while I'm waiting on it, I'll alt tab, and then I'll make that change. It's kind of a tedious thing, but man, like I said, it's night and day, and I'll walk you through that as well. Windows settings sync host right here. This is um, one of those Windows side things that you want to run in real time. It makes a big difference. Setting sync host, I think the name is pretty much self-explanatory. It keeps kind of intertwines everything. Now these are the flags that we're going to run in normal. These are the ones I was telling you about, that if they're on low, you'll be like, hey, something's wrong. What is it? These, no lie. I got them actually. I happened to find them running in low right before I made this video, so I kept them in low. That way we could all identify them together. So we'll take a look at that. You'll notice that almost immediately, if you're running a Google session, you're running a game, you're running type of antivirus scanner, and you notice, or anything you're doing, keying a text document, you notice you got a whole lot of delay. Like, let's say you're typing in a sentence, and you notice your words are like seconds behind your keystrokes. Big red flag to these programs. Search filter host.exe, search protocol host.exe, search indexer.exe. These guys just really are probably in a low priority. You just got to change them to normal. Don't run those above normal. Trust me, I've tested it. It doesn't work well. Sounds cool, but doesn't work well. All right, so to make these changes, to change the priority after you've done these steps above, you're going to want to find that process that's desired. You're going to right click on it. When you right click on it, we'll populate a set of line items. You'll find the select priority tab. You'll hover over that, and you'll select the desired priority, whichever, low, below normal, normal, above normal, high, real time. Me, I'm a real time guy. Like I said, unless you want to change these from low to normal, I set it to real time. If you're not an administrator, you could get away with doing it to high. You get prompted to show that it will affect your computer. Unless you're handling sensitive data like banking information, you're doing taxes for someone, something that you really can't afford for it to crash. Me, I have a low rate of crashes. I really don't have any problem, to be honest. It's just a disclaimer that Windows shows you, so I'm going to talk about that disclaimer. I'm going to cross that bridge. Uh, I I run mine in real time. I don't really have a problem. So if you need to reference this, just go back in the video. It's here. Like I said, I'll also put it in the comments below, or in the notes below. All right, so let's hit Control Shift Escape. We're going to populate with our task manager. Notice it really kind of looks plain Jane. We're going to go down here to the bottom left. We're going to click that. Now, notice my computer's somewhat okay. I mean, you may not notice it, but I do. So, like I said, we're going to want to right-click on our name right here. Go to Select Columns. Like I said, hit B. It's going to navigate to that base priority. We're going to check that box, and you're going to hit OK. When you hit OK, your column's going to populate. I added a lot more in here so I could conduct further research and isolate and troubleshoot more problems. It also is really helpful, like when you add these things in. Like I downloaded a virus once, and I knew I was infected just by the way my computer was behaving. But I didn't really bother with any virus scanners. I was just able to actually find it in these image paths here and open that virus directly. I just went into it and I just went into its INI file or its initialization file, and I just opened it with Notepad and corrupted it. I actually still have the virus on my computer. I just kind of leave it there just because I think it's cool. All right, so what I did, like I said, base priority, click and drag it. You should only have to do this once. Sometimes you'll notice when you restart your computer it will move, so rarely does that happen. All right. So, like I said, we'll sort it by priority. I always work from the low to the high. Now, keep in mind, these are the two that are really problematic with any system, with any Windows system. I know Linux doesn't have this, and I know that Mac does not have this. So we're just going to right-click on these. These are the problematic ones, so you as a user, you're going to find this is a great deal of help. We'll notice it's in a low priority. We're just going to right-click, go to Set Priority, and we're just going to change those to normal. Notice they did it automatically. They must know I'm onto them. So yeah, they shouldn't be running in normal. Sometimes Windows will change it back to normal. It will also go from normal to low. So if you ever notice your session is really crap, be sure to pop in here and check that. So notice that they went away. I didn't have to do anything. That's rare that that occurs like that, but now that you know that I know that that's the problem. So I already went ahead to streamline the video a little bit more to right click and change some of my AMD stuff. This is a Cronus, has to do something with my memory. I did that for all giggles and stuff, but it doesn't really make a difference. So I did some ATI stuff for my drivers, as you see here. Aurora's something for my graphics engine, and then my NVIDIA. So let's say we open up Steam, right? I have it running as administrator, so it pops up with that window. So it's going to pop up for some applications. You're going to have several different processes. And what I'll do is I'll sort it by name just to kind of make it faster, make it a little easier. So to sort through. Now, sorting it by priority is cool too, but sorting by name is also just as helpful. And you'll notice it won't move around on you when you change it. So we do have some Steams here. SVHC hosts, there's so many of them. I try to change them all to real time when I really want to get competitive. Let's say if I knew I was going to play Shroud, I'm going to change these on you, man, because it's going to help me try to have that cutting edge on you. But you'll probably still kick my butt. But if you do it, man, you'll have that much more of an edge to Shroud. So and all you other top level streamers and gamers and artists out there. So notice we have a bunch of different Steams. I'm going to save them for now, and we'll go back to this because, like I said, I run my application. Counter-Strike happens to be one of my favorite games. Playing it for as long as I've known Counter-Strike's been out. So we're just going to pop on in here. Yeah, I started at 1.6 like back in the day, like 2000. About right when online gaming really got big. I mean, before then I did Diablo and all that jazz, but for the first-person shooters, Counter-Strike was my jams. We're gonna do Twitch just for fun. I hope it doesn't interrupt my stream. All right, so Counter-Strike's launched. Typically, I like to let it run before I start changing it because there's been times where I've opened it immediately, wanted to change it, and then it will actually I'll pop over and it won't respond. So I'll just give it a second. See how I got a timer, CPU timer lets me know how long it's in. I'm running solid state, so about 30 seconds in is good for me. Notice it's on high. I did put embed a handle in on my Counter-Strike .exe file to put it on high automatically. I'm like I said, I have trouble with getting it in real time, putting handles on it for real time to work. So I'm gonna manually just change that. And the reason why I sort it by name, let's say I have a list of items. Notice after I opened Counter-Strike, more Steam web helpers came up. And we'll actually get a game overlay.ui.exe for a lot of Steam games. The game overlay UI.exe is huge. So I can right click here. I can set priority, and because we sorted it by priorities, notice it's going to shift me away. When it does, I'll have to go back down again, which is a chore. It's kind of tedious, especially because this is kind of a chore already. Like I said, it's so worth your time. So however long it takes you, it takes me about 8 minutes maybe from boot to game to do it all. So I'm just going to change those to set priority. And what this will also let me to do for the demonstration purposes is whenever I populate into a CSGO session, you'll notice that there will be more that will populate normal. Those will be the newer ones, like I said, once you set up that session. So whenever I do this, I get a huge FPS boost. Notice, I'm gonna get this overlay to go away. I've got two FPS counters running on top of each other. I'm running like 300 FPS, 200 FPS, 280, something like that. Notice this number, 0 is my minimum, 1872 is my maximum. And this is CPU utilization FPS, not graphical FPS. This isn't the FPS you're seeing. The highest I've ever gotten this number was 16,400 FPS. Believe it or not, the higher is not always the better. I achieved the best results at about 6,000, but when I hit 10,000 mark, it is so real time that my computer is running faster typically than the internet servers. So a lot of the time that whenever I achieve higher than 10,000, I am getting false data because the data I'm seeing is something that is happening before the server gets it. And I'll notice that because then it won't run as well. I don't recommend fixing it at that point, just write it out, because, I mean, who doesn't want to have that much less input latency? Shoot. So, like I said, let's establish a session. We'll just connect to a quick death match. Typically what I do is I'll get into the continue mode. Now, if you're doing a comp and you just go right into comp, you want to do it in the warm-up. You're kind of rolling the dice because
let's roll.
If you're not doing it on a like solid state system, or if you're not overclocked or don't have your RAM, if you're not running over 16 gigs, 32 gigs of RAM, and you don't have a CPU that's got a few cores in it or more with a high clock rate, it will take it a moment to alt tab between windows. So. Alright, so I know it says 19 FPS on it, says that, but it's lying to you. Alright, so see, it's pretty real time. And like I said, I don't even have it in all. Alright, so let's go over real quick. We're going to change our priorities just so we can make sure. We're going to check our lows. Remember, the lows is where our main concern is. We're going to do it by name. So I mentioned locating it by the icon. So we know Steam. Even though this starts with the G, there's no Steams in here in the G section. It does have that Steam logo that is related to your Counter-Strike. Remember I said after you launch the game, you're going to have a game overlay UI. Typically Steam will do this. You want to run that puppy in real time. It's going to make a huge difference. So if you notice you did all this, got all these steps complete, but you forgot this, you'll notice it. You'll be like, hey man, Black Flux Teabag is lying to me. No, I'm not. You just got to go and check that one too. So we're going to go down to the Steam Web Helper. Boom, that's on real time. Boom, that's on real time. We're just going to do a quick search for it all, and then we're ready to rock and roll. So we know that these are on real time. We know that we're ready to destroy. Let's go do it. And then you'll notice my FPS max counter will go up, or should go up, especially after changing that game overlay UI. It was like, what, like 1600 before? Here's that delay I was telling you about. Alright, getting back. It kicked me out. Oh, it must have been a new match. So we're at really at the target, 8,192. Wait, bot's death. Get some. Stole my kill. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. I only just made this video just to inform you on how to optimize your play. And doing so will allow you to have less screen tearing, will allow you to get more FPS out of that system that you pay so much for. And it will also allow you to get a higher KDR. Just have a better experience overall. Much cleaner. Yeah, I know you guys all seen that. It's kind of embarrassing. Alright, well, that's it for the video. Thanks for joining me. Leave me with any comments below. If you have any questions, any feedback, anything to add. Again, it's embarrassing. Alright, good day to y'all. Have a good one.